Hi, everyone. Welcome to this live transmission. I am today surrounded by a very powerful group of women that brings us together with the purpose of not only talking about the primordial feminine trinity, yet how we can and we will be restoring from within that plasma codex. And I will go a little bit through that, what that plasma codex is. Because for the ones joining us, I also have a previous video where I was doing this invitation, opening this invitation to whoever wants to join us in this live transmission, and later on an activation, which will also be live. But for now, we will be having this beautiful panel, sharing our thoughts, insights, whatever comes through the field about this fundamental topic that, based on what we are experiencing and rendering in our reality as a collective, has given me a lot to think of. You know, the way that we are behaving, how our masculine and feminine energies have been behaving, and not only due to us, yet due to other entangled programs that throughout history have been anchored. And the more that we are aware of them, then we can actually choose what to do with that, whether keep it or transcend it in order to reach and experience and co-create the next stage of human evolution into this new earth. So, having said this, welcome, beautiful ladies. And so, again, I couldn't be more grateful to be in the presence of all of you. So, Tori, would you go first, sharing us a little bit about your insights in this topic that brings us together today?
Sure. My name is Tori Rock. I'm from all over, but I reside right now in Dubuque, Iowa, right on the Mississippi River. I am co-owner of the Witch's Cottage, the Good Witch's Cottage in Dubuque, Iowa. And I was taking YssaH's source code class and learned a lot about myself. I was psychic since birth. Healing comes naturally to me. I call myself the galactic healer because what I remember is I'm very old. I'm from First Earth. I reside originally from Orion, the original Orion, the oldest war in all of the history books. And I really feel that with what's happening in the world today, the feminine is coming back. We're coming into heart coherence where it's okay to be either or. It's okay to be in the heart and your true north. And I really believe we're hitting a different realm where the plasma body is accessible to everything resides in us. It's all in us. And from what I can experience, um, I'm here to help grid the Mississippi and help the energies that need healing at this time. So I really feel that at this time it's great to be in your feminine, and it's okay to be one. Even if you're male, it's okay to be in your feminine. It's okay. We got lost in the whole I don't want to get theologian on us, but like we lost the Christos Sophia. We lost the feminine. It was always chaos and light and dark, void and chaos, and light. It was always feminine. That feminine chaos is what birthed everything. So I somehow we lost that, and we need to get it back. And what we're doing now. So that's where I stand.
Thank you, Tori.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Jen.
My name is Jennifer Stone. I live in Tennessee, near the Appalachian Mountains. I will take off from something that Tori had said, and then I'll go back to the video. In my observation and how my energy is shifting and how I see other women is almost like an allowance to soften again, right? So there's a lot of hardening of ourselves to be what was expected of us, and now like an allowance for softening more into the feminine energy, still very sovereign, but not having to have the hard edges. And on the other side of that, when I started my practice, I do different energy healings, Reiki, arconics, quantum healing, psychic surgery, things like that. But I also do QHHT, which is Dolores Cannon's method of past life regression. And I've been doing my energy practice for 11 years now. And as I started my practice, it was really all women that were coming to see me. And I've witnessed in the last year and a half, especially, that most of the people that are coming to me for QHHT are men. And I just find out I love to watch the trends and feel the energy of how things are shifting. And I see, where women were coming online over the last several years and awakening and coming into their healing and understanding who they are, to see that wave of men starting to do that now gives me a lot of hope for what's coming in the future. So as YssaH was talking about in the video about like polarity and watching how things are shifting, we've been talking for years about like the bifurcation of Earth, right? And as I've looked at things the last couple of months, instead of it being split into two, I've been seeing it split into three. I also found your observation about how there will be as much love as there will be hate. And I mean, that creates that neutrality. But those are still, I think everybody wants to see it all love and no hate, right? But balance is important. Neutrality is important. The world is on fire lately. And, to me, that's the sign that things are shifting. So like it has to come apart before we outcreate it. So I find that exciting, but it can be very unsettling for a lot of people that haven't been following the path for a while. And so I appreciate putting information like this out for the people that cross paths with it, that it gives them some stability and something to help them anchor in the midst of watching chaos unfold, because I don't personally get caught up in the energy of the chaos, but a lot of people do. And so it's helpful to put information out there and share how we hold our ground and how we hold our peace and joy for what's coming, and don't get entangled with what we're being shown on the outside.
Thank you, Jen. Yeah, about that trine thing and polarity thing, I couldn't agree more. Actually, for me, the Trinity is the singularity. When we remember that 1 plus 1 doesn't equal is not equal to 2.
Mm-hmm.
In this reality, 1 plus 1 equals 3, because then you're creating that trine result. Like that new wave coming from both of them. So, and yeah, it's this the polarization is, like, we can look at it in quantum physics terms. Like, even the deviation of the heart, if we see it's more the masculine in a linear form, more of the masculine, which is where we have been coming from. And again, this has nothing to do with genderism or feminism. Like, no, it's just a matter about bringing equality, bringing equidistant forces, so that harmony is. So, like a torsion or the vacuum or the vortex cannot be, like consciousness cannot be, if two forces are not equally, because then they won't attract themselves. They would create polarization or other type of behaviors. So this is very interesting, because the more that we have been pointing out to light, 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 the more that we're rejecting the shadow, and the more that the shadow is taking over those ones who reject it. But I also get that part of people craving for light, because those are the voices that know that that shadow has taken over the polarization, because that's the way that they have trapped a reality, by suppressing another. Therefore the vortex cannot be, the torsion cannot be, therefore the shift of consciousness cannot be. So this is why we are here, one of the reasons. Thank you. Thank you, Jen. So, Ceci?
Hello, my name is YssaH. I'm from Glorieta, New Mexico, and I am a highly intuitive empath. I feel a lot, so I'm in my heart quite a bit. I have a very strong connection with the earth, with Mother Gaia, so I love to ground and just kind of tune in, and been learning a little bit of grid work, when we went to our Mexico trip, and incorporating the source code that I've been working with YssaH and our beautiful group. And I feel like now is that time where people are tuning more into their heart, and just learning their own truth and tuning into their own authenticity. That's my own personal journey. And also learning more about my own divine feminine, about my cosmic womb, and how we don't just create on a physical level, we are creating on many different levels and layers in creation. And so I'm learning how to transmute and clear out a lot of distortion. I like to work with the violet fire, but also like learning about all the different spectrums of light, and also the darkness, like the black hole, which YssaH kind of guides us through in a lot of activations. So I feel like right now is that kind of point where we are turning more inward to learn what we are currently needing on a personal level that also ripples out through the collective. Um, so, so that's kind of where I'm at, is just tuning into myself and into my heart, and sharing all the beauty that I am discovering, because I feel like there is a lot of chaos in the world, but there's also a lot of beauty in the world too. So I feel like when we tune into the beauty, we also get to amplify our own beauty outward and share that with the collective.
Thank you. Thank you, Ceci. Just to mention something really quickly, you mentioned the black hole tech, well, what I call the black hole tech. And for me, one of the main purposes of us gathering right now as well is to embrace our divine power. Like sometimes the power of the potential energy, which is the one related to the feminine, like that plasma field of full creation, can be a little bit overwhelming, for others surrounding or even for oneself. So, how many times, and I ask you guys, and I ask you, beautiful tribe joining us, like how many times you have diminished your power because you were afraid of it? You were conditioning it because then you would be alone, or perhaps you would come in too strong, or and here is the mastery. It's not about only bringing Kali, it's about also bringing those aspects of the divine feminine that will bring that potential field of creation into harmony, into a dance. Yet to get there, first we need to experience what we are made of, our full power, and not condemning ourselves for it, embracing it and loving ourselves for it. And this idea of needing to forgive ourselves for this, why? So that will be, like another question. If you feel like these words suited you, like, do you need to forgive yourself for your power, about your power, or for using your power?
I just feel that it's been programmed in us since birth. I mean, way before that. But if you look at my generation, I'm Gen Z or Gen X, sorry. And we were programmed to just, shut that feeling off, shut everything off. You can't be different. You have to be normal. And especially in the workforce, amongst men, I come from a generation of men who owned car dealerships. I come from a family of not so norm, but of men who were just writing you down. You couldn't be in your power, God forbid. It was against everything. So you had to be little. But then you kind of grew out of it and then rebelled. And that's where I come in, because I refuse to go small anymore. I don't know what did it. Maybe some people don't know I did have a stroke almost 3 years ago, and I reprogrammed my brain. And maybe it's that, but I don't care anymore. I'm not going small for anybody. I'm standing in my authenticity and in my heart, and there's no way you're getting me out of it. So that's where I'm at on that one.
Beautiful.
Thank you,
Tori. Yeah. Yen.
So I love what you said, Tori. I'm Gen X also. And in my QHHT, my healing practice, one thing that I've really seen as a trend is like when you look at our parents and the generations before them, like healing and generational trauma are not words in their vocabulary, right? Like that's not what those generations were here to do. They were here to build what we have and perpetuate it. Our generation is like the bridge, and like we stop the pattern. And so like I see one person for the most part in each of these families like looking at it and saying, well, this is bullshit, I'm not going to participate in this anymore. And they work to heal it, and then we create the space for these generations that are coming after us that have like a completely different idea of how things are going to be. They don't want to know how it's always been. They're going to create what they want to create. And while in the workplace, sometimes it seems their ideas are dysfunctional. Like I love it. I love to create the space for them to be what they're going to be, because that's what's going to bring us into what's next. So it's really a gift to be in this generation and kind of hold that space for both sides, even, right?
Absolutely. Thank you, Jen. Adriana.
So to answer your question, what am I seeing as of late energetically? About a month back, the divine feminine strongly started speaking for itself and voicing its own needs, especially in the terms of collective of I'm not gonna be quieted down anymore, and I'm gonna speak my truth, what Tori and Jen was talking about. So it's almost kind of bubbled up. If you see this latest generation in their 20s, they already have, we laid the grounds, the older generation, and this new one already, it's unapologetically themselves, exactly as they are. And not like our parents where we had to listen and be good and be quiet. These new kids in their 20s are like, no, we're going to be heard. This is not fair. And just because you're older, I'm not giving you respect if whatever you're saying, it doesn't deserve respect. So I'm seeing a lot of those big shifts happening. And then with the divine masculine, I see divine masculine currently in a chaos. I've been watching divine masculine for past 6-7 months, desperately looking to heal with the feminine, because as you know, it has never been safe for them to feel. It's never been safe for them to express the feelings. They don't understand what the feelings are, right? Or they're starting to, but it was the old way of bottling it up even worse than for a feminine. So they've been going through major shifts. And if you notice, like fashion wise, men are wearing nail polish, men are wearing makeup, right? And that is them looking for the connection to the divine feminine, trying to understand how do they get that part of themselves that has been denied to them through the society. Right. So feminine is looking for that voice and the masculine is looking for that softness. So we're kind of like flipping in a way, just because at the end, we both are meant to meet in the great neutral, as you know, because we're both equal parts of the whole, which is the third, YssaH, as you spoke about that. So once we enter in that divine union, as you know, we both have masculine feminine sides. Some days I'm more masculine, some days the counterpart is more masculine, right? We kind of we dip in back and forth as this beautiful dance of the divine, but we're meant to be sitting in the golden neutral. And as you were talking about earlier, YssaH, there is, for every positive, there has to be negative, right? So for every light, you want more light, you should be able to go more into the shadow and embrace that shadow, because that's the only way you're going to have the balance. And so the guilt is really coming up, the guilt and the shame for things we have been shamed, as you know, having been born in this society. If you've had an opinion, or you are too much of this, if you felt something, oh, it was too much, calm down, right? So the judgments were imposed in this society. So I think that's something we're currently forgiving ourselves for, as we're really being authentic and standing our own grounds, and kind of, as it starts on the inside, and then as you do it yourself, it kind of makes waves outside and empowers everybody else to stand in that power. So there is a lot of inner work, because inside outside, it's the same thing, the match that matches, and that's what becomes your reality. So anyway, that's what I'm seeing as of late. Great balancing, currently a lot of shedding, which through the Pisces season. And we currently moved into Aries, so it's kind of full force ahead, moving and spearheading, and just ready to bring all these changes aboard.
Thank you, Adriana. Thank you. That was lovely, everyone. What each one of you is sharing, it's pure wisdom. So thank you for that. Jennifer?
Hi, everyone. So I'm Jennifer Vroom, and I am, I have many titles. I'm an author. I'm a spirit-inspired artist. I am a teacher of consciousness and meditation. I'm a speech language pathologist. I actually specialize in working with kids with autism. And Adriana, when you're talking about the new generation of people, of youngsters coming through, this is when I work with the kiddos on the spectrum, especially. Those are ones who not only are they not going to give in to what society tells them they should do, they're not even going to communicate in the same way. They're just taking it to a whole different level and bringing in this otherworldly, let's say, energy through them, and a different type of consciousness, which I appreciate. All coming for different reasons. Of course, we all still have our soul plan. I came in like from day one already doing grid work before I knew it. I was planted in places of division. And when I really resonate with earth ley lines within me, and when we talk about healing work, because I do energy healing, where I channel source energy through me and work on cells and regenerating DNA. That's what we all do, actually. Whatever kind of healing work you do, when you do a meditation, when you connect, well, guess what? That's actually what you're doing. And so I know from my own personal work, I mean, as much as I'm helping others, I do this every day for myself still because of the world we live in. And when we take the time to tap in and do a meditation or do a connection or just breathe and calm ourselves, we are actually helping each other, even when we're doing our own individual work. I actually, this morning, when I knew we were going to have this group, I mean, it wasn't for this purpose. I just, as soon as I got up, I started auto writing, and I was going to have it just for me, but it really feels appropriate to share it. So I'm just going to read it out loud because it's a different perspective that I think would be very helpful to people about what is divine feminine, because it's not what we think it is. It's certainly not what the average person would probably define this as. And so what I have here is regarding divine feminine. As this phrase or term is used today, it's usually referred to in a very limited and misunderstood way, just because we're talking about male versus female, and it is not that. And so divine feminine is a being. It is a vital aspect of source. And like everyone's been talking about, and YssaH had in her video, which I really resonated with, is on the Trinity. We are, and I think it was Adriana also who talked about bringing this together. I think everyone actually has touched on this point, which is a very important one. We're not here to, even though there's been an imbalance, we're not here to bring just divine feminine. We're here to embody wholeness. And that is bringing both sides together, all parts of our soul. One of my mantras I say to myself is, I am one, I am whole with all parts of my soul across all space, time, and dimension. And I bring that into here now and embed that into earth. That's not my auto writing, that's just me. But what I wanted to say is the core essence of divine feminine is actually divine mother spirit energy, which is a being and which is a co-creator. That is a vital part of the whole co-creation process. It's of the Holy Trinity. And that third aspect, as YssaH was talking about, is the creation itself. But this is indeed, this right now is an unprecedented and momentous time in the history of Terra, Earth, and the history of the universe, because this is my writing, not only has a divine dispensation occurred of proportions unknown and unimaginable to most, but also included in this dispensation is something that's very rare. And that is divine spirit mother energy is not usually in an embodied form. And yet at this time, from my understanding, what I've received is she is incarnated into human form at this time with us because of what's been going on. And what I was auto writing is says, take this in, breathe this in, because the breath is what divine spirit mother energy is. It's the pulse, the breath that brings any creation into actual physical form. That is very important. And so again, it's not male, female. That is what it truly is. And why is this happening now? It's because of the level of distortion, disorder, imbalance that has reached such proportions, because yes, we do want to face our shadow self. Yes, we still will always have these sort of lessons, right? Our karma, our soul lessons that we're learning. However, the level of distortion across history needs to come back into balance. And so that's why this is happening at this time. So it's very special. And here we are in our local universe, on the edge of the universe. We are now in an opportunity to expand and to create something very different that has never happened in the history of the universe. So it's a very vital time indeed. And so right now is a time to bring back the original divine blueprint of source creation here, not this inorganic creation that we are experiencing, our so-called reality that is not reality actually. And so divine mother spirit energy is that breath of life and the basis for creation. It breathes things into creation and sustains creation. And so I love, someone had mentioned, this will be the last part, which is I was told to imagine the tree of life. The seeds are planted into the ground. We are the womb of Terra that accepts and carries these to term. We are the sacred vessel, the womb. We are the breath of life that breathes the earth and breathes through the entire universe. So when we're doing grid work, we are not just connecting to, not only are we connecting to each other, connecting to all beings here on and within the earth and around the earth, but across the entire universe, in fact. So we're creating across the universe. We are the breath and pulse of all creation. And so it's not any little thing that we're doing here. So that's all. That's it. That's all we're doing today.
Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. I just want to mention that, it's not that, because it's not possible, at least not in the space memory network, to erase something, any type of information. You can deactivate it, but you cannot erase it. Like energy will always be there, just in different forms. So plasma, but when I say that it was erased from the equation, is from our awareness. It was erased from within our awareness. So it's a process of remembrance. And the thing about plasma is that you were talking about unity, and which we all are very much tapped into, the importance of unity consciousness, a unified consciousness. Plasma is that field that unifies it all, at least, Planck plasma. It's that ether. Ether, it's like, I don't know where it went. Well, I don't know. It has always been there, but, again, from our state of awareness. And that's very much connected to the role of the feminine energy, to that potential force, the infinite field of creation. Because if you suppress the potential field, you're suppressing sovereignty, because then you just have a limited frame of opportunities. But then you don't remember that you have an infinite field of probabilities. And who set that finite field of probabilities? Well, precisely those who have, let's say, configured this illusion, But I know that we all are agree on this. That's not a problem, because all that is an illusion. The moment that we remember and that we start acting in absolute coherence, progressively, of course, then we're capable to master this and just go beyond that perception. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that, because for me, plasma is the key to many things, not only for free energy and, like for understanding how the universe functions, yet to achieve that unity. Because again, and this is very much related to the activation that we will have now on the video that I made, is I remember about a device before Robert Pavlida created his cyclotron, which is to harness plasma. There were other type of devices, and I'm talking in Atlantean times and so forth. You could harness that plasma, and from that plasma, fill in and empower, like all those grids that were created through the waters, and then interconnecting to other temples. The thing is that you remove that from human awareness. What you just get different units and some woo-woo of how everything is interconnected. So that energetically, that definitely ripples on the potential energy, because then your idea of how everything is connected and how I can access, this is where I was heading to, quantum timing, because I have been talking about restoring the pulse of the heart. That's quantum timing, because it's the one that restores the harmony in the field, through the very same sequence and coherence to the space-time geometries. So because quantum timing also comes from a unified field and knows that whatever I do is going to have an effect on the other. So that's unity consciousness. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. Thank you, Jennifer. Martina?
Yeah, so what I've been noticing of late, let's say the last couple of months, from where I'm standing, working with the Earth Nouveau group and with people who have done an extensive amount of healing and self-mastery and sovereignty, is that we are beginning to internalize that Stargate that you mentioned in your video. It really feels for me that the Stargate is not a place or an object. For me, it's a threshold condition that we're starting to really internalize. So all that symbolism, we call it a Stargate, but what if that's really a threshold condition that is allowing us now, as the distortions are collapsing, as we're seeing, very fast and very quickly collapsing. The alignment between, if we look at culture, science, the work that you're doing, YssaH, spirituality, science, culture, religion, politics, of course, what we're seeing at the moment, and the disclosure, the UFO disclosure, which is more and more being talked about. All of that is a transition that we are invited to participate very much on a physical level. I'm writing the Fascia Codex, and since I've been writing the Fascia Codex, everything has become so embodied, so spiritually embodied for me, that I can start perceiving changes, no longer from a belief system perspective or from a male or female, because there is no distinction for me anymore. It's all come together, it's all fused together, it's all come in unison. Even the elements, the ether and the earth and the water, it's like all working in alignment now. And we can basically just step into that space and internalize it. And from that space, the thing is that's become so significant for me now is three things. And one of the things Jen, I think, and Tori mentioned already. First of all, it's the recognition of the infinite possibilities of the potential that we carry, and not just the expression of the potential, but the potential, the complexity of the potentiality that we carry within our genes, within our body, within our fascia, that is actually grounding that new earth, that Stargate, if we want to call it that, onto this planet. And to really stabilize it. And lots of us, people who have done the work, are going away from the fixing, from the internal correction. We're going now, we've cleared the light, or of course we're still working, but and now it's a refraction. We're refracting it out again. So that's where the movement then comes in. How can we move within that light prism refraction transition phase and just go without resistance and in total allowance? And neutrality is one level, but neutrality itself doesn't necessarily create. And that's the thing with the fascia, which I've been learning, is like neutrality doesn't create. It's a beautiful space to become more the observer, the art of noticing what's actually happening. And from that space of noticing, we're being called back into service. And it's an inevitability. It's like I don't have to make a plan or I have to set a goal anymore. It's almost like the body's telling me, go, come onto this podcast today. Doesn't matter what you say, just be there. And here I am.
Thank you, Martina. You touched upon a very important topic about refraction. By the way, I love your accent. I think that I haven't ever heard it, like that. I kind of even heard it a little bit Irish, which is very interesting, So I love it. But the thing, when you're talking about refraction, I think that this is a pivotal aspect of how we can see the difference in between deflecting and as just mirroring without thinking that we're exchanging codes, like just boom, shielding, boom. But the thing is that reality doesn't work like that. We can manipulate it that way because like we can just manipulate, like shape and bend light. Regardless, the ultimate state of unity consciousness, at least, is to refract, which is bringing the light in and then influence it in a way that it will go to another way once it touches our field. So it will never be the same. And this is, I think, the way that in which we exchange codes. Like once we share, we will never be the same in a good way. It depends how each one looks at it. I just to say for
and that's where the infinite possibilities come in, because as a multidimensional being, you can refract yourself to wherever it is required. There is no time or space limitation, as long as you can maintain your stability, and don't go into overwhelm or chaos or get distracted. Fall into the old need of validation. It's almost like but this is why in the beginning I said going post-identity, because in order to refract the light through the prism to be able to be wherever I need to be, I can no longer be identified with a particular role or culture or this or that. That doesn't mean that I've become I disappear. It's actually what's happened to me. It's like I'm much more grounded. The less I identify myself with anything, the more grounded I am in the present moment. And of course, the present moment is not in the present. It's in the past. It's in the future. Everything at the same time.
Yeah. I one thing that I want to add to that is that, for instance, because a lot of people think that neutrality is singularity, which is not. Singularity is wholeness. Neutrality is more of what we could relate to a static force, which nothing is truly static, but ingredients. So this is something very important, just to bring up and put on the table, because singularity is that point in community in which two forces encounter to create life, and that is consciousness. And this is why precisely we are here. I think that people attaching to neutrality and that observer, it's just like an isolated idea in which you don't remember that the observer is not outside. The observer is actually everywhere, mainly at the center. This is why the eye of the hurricane, so then the center is capable to redirect all the forces and embody everything at once. Because again, very much connected to what Martina was saying, from my experience and from my point of view, is that we are here playing all roles, which I agree. Every time that I talk about myself, I talk about the things that I do, but not what I am or who I am, unless I'm in a position. And even so, if we introduce ourselves in that way, I think that the more aware that we are that we are everything and ultimately we're nothing, because we are detached from everything, then we are actually accessing to that unity consciousness. And even that includes role play, because then that's wholeness, so yeah, just wanted to say that. But thank you everyone. So before starting the connection and going a little bit through it for the ones that didn't watch the video before and that are joining us now, do you guys want to share any other pearls of wisdom? Just go for it.
Yes, I want to go.
Oh, I didn't know if you were. I didn't know as you had your screen up. Okay, cool. Hey there.
I
I'm
just coming late. I
yeah.
just like see the videos just like an hour ago. Like for that, I have all the informations, but like it was so interesting because like you were talking like about all the planets like masculines like coming in now, like Saturn's and like Jupiter and like all what we're working on, and also I can see that like on Earth. It's really interesting like because it's a lot, it's really dry now, like for example like here in California and all in Unistate, it was like a really weird winter. I never seen that before, like not snow. It's like really sunny, like, and for me like also that is a spirit like masculine force coming through like that earth now. And we can see like for example in Hawaii like all the flood no and all the water for that, like I can see like also on the earth like also that match between like masculine and feminine like force, like just try to just balances, like because also the earth like going through that energy. And like it was like so interesting, and I can see also that in every people. I can see also in my own reality how much I can expand and going through more my femininity side, like, and try to just more balance, to just connect more. And the more of recreations, like I feeling like really so much more connections, like also to the earth and a call, and a really like a call, and not just for me but like also in different people and different reality of some people around me. For that, like, but like really, that's really interesting. Like would love also like to understand more like about like that connection of today, like about what you were talking, like Isha in the video, like about Jupiter and free atlas, like connect like today, and for why like it's a gate also to just working more on that activations. Like I would love like to understanding like little bit more, but like I can see like really also like in that reality we have now about like different like fights no between like the feminine and the masculine, you know, about like what's happened like here for sure in all what you were talking about like in Iran and all like the East. It's like because I feeling like a lot of force have just controlled that part of the world, because it's supposed like to be like the feminines, like the most stronger feminine side is in that part of this world, you know. And for that, like it's so interesting because now what we are living, it's like just an expansion. It's like a contraction and expansion. I really feeling like if we can feeling that all is like a breathing, it's like that contraction and expansion about that reality, and how like that operations going like to fold on to just bloom it. I don't know how to explain my ideas, but like it's really interesting like to see that. And the most like things is that like I can see, I say wow, it's so much energy coming into like for like many weeks, and it's a lot of solar storms too like coming into this earth, and we can feeling it's really hot. It has never been like as much hot. It's the most hot winter I did. And the people here like told me like they don't know, like it's never happened before for that, like, and I can see everyone in his own reality like is working on his energy, like to try like to also to find the balance, and like to find like that unity. And it's really like I feeling that because it's a lot of distortions in the masculine and in the feminine, and we are all working on that, like to find like the right path and to find like the truth, yeah, the truth like about like who we are and where we can be, and like to just connect to the source. And like, yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And like, yeah, I really like also like, I just listened Jennifer like and Martina and like Adriana, and like, and I'm really happy because like I feeling the same too about all what we have shared. Like, thank you. I appreciate. But yeah, it's like really that I really feeling like there's a lot of contraction now, like on this like earth, and like and in different reality, and a lot of masculine force comings, and I feeling that like it's also like the way to, okay, now we have to ground more to just receive all that energy coming through like the plasma body, and to starting like to just bloom it and expand like as much like a feminine, because I feeling like, yeah, the earth need that energy, that balance, that feminines like to just like find the balance, you know, all over the world. Yeah, is what I would like to share.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Maureen. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's lovely to have you here with us, everyone, each one of you. I'm truly grateful for this moment, for this now, and what we are co creating, and also everyone that is watching this transmission and that will be watching it later on. May all the seeds that we are sharing now and that we'll be planting in a bit through this through the activation continue to flourish, the co-creation of this new earth in a spatiotemporal constant that had been weak and that now is coming into its full power, because it's that highest timeline, that highest spatiotemporal constant that we deserve as extensions of source, as we get to choose. Remember, choice is within. So, having said this, anyone wants to share any words before starting the activation? Because remember that once we do the restoration, there is not a lot of space to talk after. So, I don't know if anyone wants to say just a couple of words before diving in. Yeah, Tori.
I just want to say that ego is a big part of it. There is no room for ego. We were conditioned and taught that if you look at the masculine, feminine, the light and the night side, as a shadow worker therapist myself, we were taught that that's the bad side of us. No, it just made us more primitive. It goes lower. It goes into survival mode. It kept us safe. It wasn't to shame, blame, or put a word on it. And you mentioned the attachment. If you have no identity, no attachment to anything, your heart coherence, you're going to know what that feels like. There is no room for ego at this point. Ego's out the window. So don't fool yourself into thinking that, this is, woo. No, this is real, and it's actual scientific things going on. But don't think that ego plays a part, because it doesn't. So that's my tidbit of wisdom for you.
Thank you, Tori.
Just putting together something that Martina and Mamie had said. I don't have good eyesight. I'm sorry. As I've my perception of things is growing and shifting. I have had the same experience that I am the Stargate, and when I go to look at it, it goes like through me. And that expansion that you were talking about, for me, like I would say it's dilating. That's how it has been looking for me, is that it's like a rotational dilation, but it's still that expansion. And that makes me think of like giving birth, right? And so listening to y'all talk kind of brought that into me, putting things together with the divine feminine and where we're going and what we're birthing here. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you.
And the other Jennifer, I was going to also just bring up when we talk about the pulse and the breath, and I know you talked about timing, and I think about it also in terms of, like, you think of cymatics. I just find that it goes hand in hand with like bringing something into creation. And here we are together in this beautiful group of women. This is a time, in this time of chaos in the world, of course, things are dismantling. And so we know that's at the end of the day going to be a very positive thing. It feels very chaotic for a lot of people. It's very hard, but this is, I just feel coming together is so critical right now in times like this, to support one another and to hold that vision for what we want to bring into creation. And through this like syncing, I just feel this like syncing of our heartbeats. And this heart chakra is actually what I always use as the portal. I believe in all of us it is, but it's the portal for that spirit energy of divine feminine. In fact, through the heart portal and through this almost like syncing of our heartbeats, that pulse, and then the breath as we're going to be connecting together. I just feel really strongly this is, what we're creating together is very significant. And if we can do this, rewatch this and continue to come together and also do our own inner work as well. But, I just appreciate it very much. So just wanted to bring that, as I'm also holding my crystal that has, by the way, the masculine and feminine end, because that's, we need both ends, both sides of that polarity.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you. And just that guys, like the content and the description of where to find these beautiful ladies will be all written in the description below this video. So if you want to have a session with them or just talk or whatever, the ones that are available for that, you will get their information there. So so now, well, let's do this, you guys. If we are ready, just want to say that throughout this this restoration that we will be doing, we will be mastering the alignment of the heart to the true north by amplifying the magnetic energy, the magnetic field, the potential energy, just to generate that balance. We will be going through some aspects of the 9 universes, which are the 9 toroidal fields, in order to build up the plasma body. And we will also be connecting with in like planetary consciousnesses, their highest octaves, mainly Jupiter, Saturn, and Venus. And also we will be connecting to the 5 elements. So along with many other things that come through the field. When I say the restoration of the divine feminine, I mean, you can picture it however you want. I don't picture it myself like as a hijacked being that was trapped and retained as a victim in a black cube. It's more of how this potential force has been used and us not being aware of that, then that leads to a disadvantage due to the lack of awareness. So it's owning our own potential energy, owning our own plasma energy, and stepping up into our wholeness and being capable to regain that harmony that comes when our 2 inner forces come together to co-create that trine force, and also to restore again the quantum timing within our state of awareness, which is bringing that feminine aspect to the masculine, to chronos, to time. So therefore transcending that perception of time. So let's do this, ladies. Thank you so much for building up this field. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. So thank you, you powerful women, and thank you all watching this transmission. So I don't know. Do you get to listen to one subtle frequency or not? Yeah? Okay, cool. So inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. As you're inhaling and exhaling, in every breath that you take, you integrate the information around you, surrounding you. That space that you created for yourself, that scenario, that coordinate within the quantum field, where you as a unit, as an extension of the universe, are creating your own universe. You are becoming, you are source to your creation. And in every breath that you exchange with your field around you, you emanate that breath of life. That blesses with particles of your own universe, all of that creation, in a continuous feedback, in a continuous exchange that strengthens your perception, that strengthens your awareness of the importance of your presence at every moment, at every pulse of life, that expands through the echo that the heart of the universe emits, and which is an avalanche, which as a ripple effect continues to unify heart to heart, even if those hearts are not aware of that. Without power source, life is not. And the power source is essential to each one of us. And the essence is the one for each one of us. Inhale and exhale. Connect with the air, the element of the earth, the element of the fire, the water, and the ether. As a 5-point star, visualize your holographic vessel, bringing in through each one of your edges, of your points, of your nodes, the codes of these elements that are energy just expressing themselves in different manners at different gradients. Those alchemical processes that in this reality create life. Connect with all your power of your connection with each one of these consciousnesses. The air. Feel the air running through your skin, caressing your hair, touching every cell in your skin, and how your cells are refracting that exchange, Going to the next point. Connect with the fire. Connect with that vibrant force of creation and destruction. Destruction not in a literal form, yet as the continuum of end and beginning that comes to show a strong force to use in your creation, in your manifestation, in your life. Tune into with those fire codes within you, memories. Feel the fire within you. The fire at the center of your holographic vessel, interdimensional vessel, and how it communes with the air. Bring in all those memories of you flying, levitating, going beyond the gravitational field, mastering it. Bring in all the memories of you mastering the element of fire, tapping into your inner fire and mirroring into the fire outside. Feel the power and the strength of those two elements and feel how they are reflecting into different circuitries throughout your physical, holographic, and interdimensional vessel as beaming stars. Now connect with the earth. Connect with the consciousness of every particle of earth that constructs your reality. Communicate with it. Transfer your consciousness to those particles of earth and all the records and information of all the beings underground that use the earth in a different way. Feel the strength of planet Earth itself. Feel how it communes with all the different elements such as plasma, water, air, how it brings life, how the darkness to this element is key for creation. Connect with that wisdom and that power of grounding, of becoming the earth itself, becoming the air itself, becoming the fire itself, and being them. And feel how your physical, your holofractal, and your interdimensional body respond to that. How does your body feel embodying being those elements at once, in harmony, in presence? Breathe them in and breathe them out. And now connect with the element of water. That field of interconnectivity that brings negentropy to matter. That bridge in between the quantum and the physicality. The memories of water and its different states. Communicate with the water. Talk to it as you have talked to all the other elements. Recognize it within you. Be the water itself. And understand the water's behavior and how it becomes a liquid crystalline lattice, empowering and harnessing your capabilities to refract more light, to exchange more light with the universe, and being that rainbow consciousness as a Christ consciousness embodying the wholeness of the spectrum of light. See yourself expanding through the waters of the earth and through the waters of the cosmos. Your physical vessel fades away into the water and yet remains coherent through one breath of life when you bring it back to you. And now connect with the element of ether. Communicate with it as the consciousness that it is. Mirror into it and see how your body responds to the interaction with that ether field, with that etheric field. Feel how your cells start communicating in a different way. How they start communicating in different forms of languages, codes, geometries, space-time geometries, that unified along with the other four elements. You're bringing the five platonic solids to the center, creating one figure. That figure is your source code. Now amplify it with your heart. Align it to your heart. And now, in the name of the most evolved version of yourself, you can call it within you, as it's within you, as it's you. And throughout the infinite field of probabilities, connect with 9 versions of yourself that embody the highest presence of plasma technology. Those extensions of yourself that reside in higher dimensions, and which mastery of the plasma body is so extent, so vast, that will be upgrading your own knowledge about it. Feel how you're bringing in through your interdimensional vessel, through your neuronal network, going beyond the limits of the matter. Start tapping into that space that connects your physical vessel to your interdimensional vessel, to the space memory network, or to the quantum akasha, and feel how your neurons are weaving themselves through that space from your state of awareness as they have always been connected, and quantum tunneling information all the way to those spatiotemporal constants where those 9 versions of yourself are. You can even visualize your own tree of life. A tree of 33 plus spheres that create a structure of absolute negentropy, and using the entropy of the field to continue creating itself and recreating itself. Bring 9 spheres of information, 9 toruses, 9 toroidal fields, that through that vacuum motion, that vortex motion, are traveling through the wormholes that interconnect your neurons, your interdimensional body, your holofractal vessel, to that space memory network. Bring in those toroidal fields into your awareness. But remember, you're not bringing them from any else outside from you. You're bringing them from within you, deep within you. You access from within. Your perception of something outside is the feedback that you are generating as source, as an extension of source, to remember who you are. So you're going to start bringing from that primordial field from within. You can feel how each particle that constructs your body, every proton is a black hole, a tiny black hole. And from those tiny black holes, you're bringing in, you're funneling in and transmitting into your genetic code, into your cellular code, the information of those 9 toroidal fields. You can feel genetic codes activating and deactivating just as algorithms that are pulsing in different modes and gradients of light, the space memory network. Your source code advancedly expands as a macro construction of a universe, your universe, architect of light. And now that those 9 toroidal fields are expanded within you, that have activated and deactivated codes for you to harness that inner wisdom of the plasma body technology. You're going to face lock them with the heart of the cosmos. You're going to connect them through quantum tunneling through the heart of the primordial field. Then, and therefore, it continues bringing infinite energy, free energy. And you feel in those codes, that plasma field. You start connecting with the consciousness of your magnetic force, the magnetic force within you and the electric force within you. First, the magnetic field. You can see how within you it starts to strengthen, to become stronger and stronger as you nourish it with that 9 toroidal plasma, as well as your electric field, as both together are the ones that are building up those 9 Tauruses. Now, if you connect with your magnetic field and your electric field, listen to them as consciousnesses. Your magnetic field represents that force of bringing into your reality that which you choose to create, that which you desire, that which mirrors your resonance. Your electric field as a consciousness that expands the light that you emit, that drives interconnectivity beyond space, across universes through the space memory network. That force that orders which is and which is not. So communicate with them both. What do they have to say? And ask them to show you how they are present in this reality, what you're experiencing in this, what you call reality, what we call as a collective reality. See everything that is happening in the collective and see the presence of these two forces. How are they playing together? Are they equal or are they highly polarized? And not polarized again in equal harmony, yet polarized in a disadvantaged form that only creates separation and annihilation. See those forces and now look at yourself and see if they are mirroring at you. How harmonic are those forces within you? So now you feel that your heart starts popping up into the surface. Your heart, your biological heart, and your energetic heart that is highly directed to your left, to your human, to your feminine. And feel how that electric force has been oppressing that magnetic force, because also the magnetic force has been magnetizing, over magnetizing that electric force. See their interaction throughout years of human evolution. And see how that has influenced and affected your reality. On one side, you were not aware before of your capability of magnetizing. Everything that would happen in your reality would be considered as random or good luck. Yet it is more than that. It is a result of your resonance, of the frequency that you emit. So again, feeling into that magnetic force that had been polarized in a non-balanced way, in a way that torsion hasn't been able to happen because the forces were not equally alike, mirroring into one another, capable to torsion one another. Start releasing your magnetic field. Release it. Release it. Inhale and exhale and feel how instead of what would be injecting more magnetic field, it is about releasing. Release. Release. And also tell your electric force to release. They start weaving one another into the electromagnetic field, facing up into the next stage, which is the gravitational field and the static field, the potential and the kinetic energy. Release the potential. Let go of any fear that you have of becoming the most evolved version of yourself, of embodying your full power. Let go. Let go. Let go. Face yourself vulnerable. Vulnerable to your force, vulnerable to your power. Owning it. Sovereignly embracing it. Let go of your kinetic force. Let go of control. Let go of order. Let go of need. In both ways. Let go of fear and let go of control. Let go. Release. Release. Feel the tiredness of fighting for a position, for a place. Let go and be. As you let go and as you are, you feel how your potential and your kinetic energy held by your electromagnetic field, which is expressing through the element of the water within you, starts to create trine codes, trinities, to crystallize itself into trinities, into pyramidal figures. Clearing your waters into a liquid crystalline lattice. And feel how, throughout that coherence, the true frequency of the universe is coming through. Triplets of triplets, reorganizing every molecule within you. Your heart, through your blood, in presence of plasma and water, starts to build in, to expand those crystalline codes, that crystalline lattice. And your heart, as the axis, aligns through that releasing to the true north. From the center of your heart all the way to the true north of the universe, you continue expanding your plasma body through that level of coherence, through those 9 toruses, through that liquid crystalline lattice, through that light, that photoluminescence, activating that genetic code within you into its full potency. You can see how that mirrors into the space memory network, and the space memory network starts to show you a way that connects you to the primordial founders of this world, of this planet. Those primordial founders come into three figures. That Trinity, you're going to acknowledge its connection to Venus, Saturn, and Jupiter. Remember, amplify your heart vortex. Amplify your heart vortex. Amplify your plasma body. Amplify the 0 point field within you. Amplify that sensation. Amplify yourself. You feel how that wave function, that wavelength that you are emitting all the way to those planetary consciousnesses are exposing specific knots that are present in each one of them. These knots are curvature in the continuum of space-time, energy that has been bent with one purpose: activating new codes and deactivating old codes. Yet, as this was unknown, nobody would remember it until now. So with the strength of your heart, visualizing the first knot related to Venus, that representation of the primordial feminine as a plasma force that is untamable, that comes in strong. And feel how its polarized expression had led to a feminine that had overused its power of sensuality and sexuality, distorting the sacredness of it. So with all your heart expanded, blessed in plasma, unknot that energetic filament and allow the quantum codes of the next octave of Venus activate. You can shape it with your hands. You can shape it with your voice. You can shape it however you feel. Just undo that knot, that energetic knot. While expanding your heart and feeling as a mirror how infinite supercoilings in your DNA that were compressing that next octave of your divine feminine were mirroring into that which Venus was experiencing, the consciousness of Venus, of that planetary code, of that astronomical code. Feel how any restrainment that was anchored and compressed within your DNA in a supercoiled mode that was not fully uncoiling in order to deactivate and activate the next stage of the embodiment of the most sacred form of the divine feminine. The next octave of Venus is the feminine force, that plasma force that it's capable to shield, that it's capable to expand through coherence, inner coherence. Aligned to the heart, to the true north, in authority of their own force. Free energy, free energy, free energy. And now you connect with Saturn. You connect with the ninth dimensional consciousness of Saturn, that next octave. Track it within the space memory network and track it where it is connected from within your holographic vessel, holofractal vessel. Track it within your neuronal network. Where is it? And now you will start empowering that connection, those wormholes, quantum tunneling and exchanging 9-dimensional codes with that planet that will no longer be Saturn. Feel the frequency of its original name and receive it. That will be related and is related to the quantum timing. What in this reality would be known as aeons. You can just connect with a neutral form of relating to it, which is the quantum timing. The time of the heart. So you're going to, as you're connecting with that 9th-dimensional version of Saturn, you're going to see and be aware of where the knots are in the rings of Saturn, where they were placed and anchored through a program, building up an idea, a simulation, another matrix. So you're going to expand again your heart and expand it, expand it, expand it, expand it. Tapping into the bliss of that 9th-dimensional planet, all the power and beauty that it has, the high alignment to the heart of Source, and the coherent nexus that it creates all over Earth and far beyond. So all that amount of love, all that love that you're harnessing, you will use it to unknot those anchors that were put on the rings of Saturn through the most sublime, compassionate, and generous love you will unknot them, while always strengthening your plasma body, your plasma field, therefore your field of coherence, where only the energy aligned to your divine mission is. Resonance principles. You're just being that potential energy that has finished a cycle. You're just being that plasma codex, that plasma force that has re-entered to a rebirth. You're just occupying your place, your space. So as you're unknotting those anchors, you feel how the rings start to fade away. And now you see halos of light present in that 9-dimensional form of consciousness of Saturn. Halos of presence, of divine essence, of truth. Feel how your heart beats and emit profoundly that heartbeat to the core of Venus and the 9th-dimensional form of what was known as Saturn and is now upgrading its name. Echo and feel how your heart is echoing all the way to their hearts. You're speaking the same language. Feel how your plasma body empowers. Feel your 9th-dimensional consciousness. Feel yourself as a designer, creator of light. And feel how this reality that we are co-creating is anchored in absolute coherence, strength, and harmony within the spatiotemporal constants that are the core constant of this collective reality. Yet you start from within. It's from within that you bridge it. Remember, it's from within that you bridge it. Inhale, exhale. And now you're going to connect with Jupiter. For that, you will bring the consciousness of Regulus, the star Regulus, the Royal Star of Regulus, the fixed star of Regulus, and all the algorithms that astronomically it holds. You will start connecting with the life forms within that star, around that star, and the plasma beings that are the presence of that consciousness. You're going to breathe that in and track it within your holographic body. regardless if you feel it in different points of your holographic body, you will also feel it deep in your heart, the heart of the lion. So those codes, what they are doing is enlightening even more your plasma, your heart vortex. You're bringing in the codes of the new sun, the original sun. Feel into those codes and feel how they are regenerating your bodies, your neuronal network, process of neurogenesis happening as right now. So now you will feel the consciousness of Jupiter. And in that consciousness of Jupiter, you will start bringing in the heart, that potential force, that, as we know, that feminine aspect, as you have done with the other two planets. For now, we're going to call them into three trine forms, which are non-defined into a physical being, yet to a plasma force that is unlimited to source and to its presence in this reality. Alusa, Manat, and Alat. Remember, aside, beyond any systemical belief, you're connecting to the primordial forces of plasma in three gradients that tune into these three planets. We are restoring the conception of the feminine beyond the physical form into the wholeness of what plasma is, into the potential field of probabilities of manifestation and creation. So when you tap into the consciousness of Jupiter, you see the presence of this masculine force. And you see the distortions that have been placed through knots compressing information that resulted into overlapping structures that were not fulfilling wholeness. Once you have tracked them, amplify the divine presence of your plasma field through your heart vortex. Without any expectation, just expand your heart. Expand your heart vortex. And as you're expanding your heart vortex, you see how the magnitude that you have reached by harnessing through the other two planets your power, your inner power. Through gentle touches, you start releasing those knots, uncoiling those supercoiled genetic filaments, genetic strands of the DNA of Jupiter and the other planets, and the information regarding to its next octave starts to activate, and the information regarding to its lower octave deactivates. Presence and motion. Inhale and exhale. Bring in that potential energy and route into the ninth dimensional form of consciousness of Jupiter related to Alat. Bring it in. Connect with that primordial force. Connect with that primordial force. And feel how it starts to dance into the next octave, bringing in the purest of the kinetic force and the potential force into the three planets. A continuous dance as a continuum of space-time, regenerating itself to its next stage of evolution. Feel how that ripples as a new form of guidance, neither patriarchy nor matriarchy. It's a triarchy, the communion of both, creating the divine trine code. Integrate and feel, connect and communicate with those consciousnesses of those higher octaves, of those 9-dimensional versions of those planets in wholeness, and see how they are emitting its consciousness through the space memory network, through the plasma field, Planck plasma, all the way into the liquid crystalline lattice of your molecular structure of water, the water in the planet Earth. And all this interconnectivity as a quintessence element that allows us to restore the primordial memories within. Heik an arukus ines aheptikalir varikon lekon ari kun uriak in. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So now just call in first stage of what our task will continue to be. Call in the consciousness, the primordial consciousness on earth of the stargates as a reflection of your cosmic womb, of your inner cosmic womb. And the ripple effect of the restoration of those three planets have a direct and harmonic impact on all the technologies that have been used distortedly to suppress and take advantage of the primordial force through amnesia, through ignorance. Remember, expand your heart and release those knots from within, and from the space that you are doing it, absolute and source love. It will have a triple effect on consciousness and awareness of the collective. It begins within. Everything is a reflection of yourself, what you choose to see and not to see. Tune into that highest timeline of unity consciousness on earth, how that which is without is mirroring right back as feedback, as a continuous feedback to within, because within is the source, and within is that which gives order and commands in negantropy that which looks without. Unified consciousness. Expand your heart vortex. Expand it so vast into the cosmos, into the earth's core. as one. Feel your infinite plasmic field growing stronger and stronger as your heart vortex is, and the 9 Tauruses that you connected with imprint themselves in your source code. Dynamic vacuum fluctuations, torsioning, bringing in the primordial code of plasma technology within you. Feel the quantum waves that you are organically emitting through your universe, and how with the universe of each one of us are creating those ripple effects as gradients that shift patterns as soon as my field touches yours, creating harmony, making this reality. And truth, love, compassion, freedom. Thank you. And as you continue to breathe in and breathe out, breathe in and breathe out, breathe in and breathe out, you will start commanding that every code, every particle of information light that has configured itself at this present moment will continue to nourish and expand itself through your field in absolute resonance with the quantum timing, while your heart continues to expand to the true north, restoring, having restored, and will continue to restore the essence of what is, what has been, and what will be, according to the divine cycles of the cosmos, and how we could create a new earth. How we are co-creating a new earth. How we are a new earth. Inhale and exhale. I'm going to count from 9 to 0. And when I reach 0, you can slowly open your eyes, move your joints, your body in acknowledgement of the full gratitude, presence, essence, and bliss that you are. 9, Kunu. 8, Kunu. 7, Kunu. 6, Kunu. 5, Kunu. 4, Kunu. 3, Kunu. 2, Kunu. 1, Kunu. 0, Kunu. It's done. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Totally epic. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, YssaH.
Thank you.
Girls.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. And thank you everyone who joined us and who will be joining us later. If you're interested in being part of this group, that we will be continue having the feedback of this experience and further more adventures together, also proposed by all of and each one of us, you can just write in the description comment and I will get back to you and add you to the chat in WhatsApp. So thank you so much. Does anyone want to share anything before calling this for tonight?
I just want to say thank you, all of you. I feel like my heart is connected to you all, even though we span across this beautiful planet and throughout all time and space. Thank you for this journey and for this moment and for your presence. Love and gratitude.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, beautiful tribe, for your beautiful comments. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all the energy that was present for this to be. Thank you all. Honor, gratitude, love, and until next time.
Thank you.